They went to New York, lots of red carpets, being photographed getting in and out of taxis, going for meals with celebrities, hanging out, having a little bit of A-star celebrity life in New York. And they picked up an award, a humanitarian award, I think they picked up in New York. What did you think of their New York visit, Ingrid?
Well, I thought it was like a sort of poor version of George Clooney. Right. I mean, they picked up an award. Well, we don't really, I mean, it's a humanitarian award. And they have said some very, worthy things about humanitarian issues. But I couldn't name you one of them, and I bet most of your listeners and readers couldn't either.
Well, they cited the fact that they'd been very active about this social media. They unveiled this memorial.
But that was ages ago,
Yeah, but that's what the award was for, in
Yeah.
the humanitarian award, for their work with social media and kids that have committed suicide as a result of online bullying and stuff like that. But they also cited in the award Spare. Now, quite why you'd get an award for a humanitarian award for slagging off your family, I'm not sure, but Spare was actually mentioned as part of the reason that they. But it does make me laugh when I see when they get these humanitarian awards. I regard a humanitarian as somebody who tries to sort of make peace with people, and they can't even make peace with their own families. Won't even see her own father, and yet they're held up as these great sort of philanthropists and humanitarians.
But I know they are, but we don't hold them up like that. I shouldn't think any man in the street here would be able to tell you what the award was for.
It was a PR blitz, wasn't it? I think they did 4 or 5 things in New York. She had lunch with Serena Williams. I think she had dinner with Ed Sheeran. They both had dinner with Ed Sheeran, didn't they?
They went to Soho House and had dinner with him.
Went to Soho House, yeah. Last time he was involved with the royals, he got stabbed in the face with a sword, didn't he, by Princess Beatrice. But anyway, so they saw him. He's obviously a mate. And then I think she went to some sort of women's empowerment group, didn't she? Where she,
yes.
They're calling it Meghan 3, aren't they? Saying this is the third sort of relaunch. She might start to stray into the cosmetics world, start producing her own lipstick or makeup. That could be a big money spinner, a bit like Victoria Beckham's got into that field. So, I think it was a sort of PR blitz in New York and Washington.
It seems to me that everything they do is a PR blitz. So,
just when the world thought Meghan Markle had stepped back, she's back again. Royal insiders say the Duchess of Sussex is preparing for her third major relaunch after a headline-grabbing trip to New York that critics are calling a PR blitz. Tonight, we ask, what is Meghan really planning? Cameras, curated smiles, and a flurry of designer outfits, the Sussexes' latest appearance in New York was no ordinary visit. From red carpet photo ops to surprise media moments, the trip looked less like charity and more like brand revival. Observers say this was Meghan's testing ground, a chance to gauge whether the public is ready for another Meghan Markle era. This marks Meghan's third attempt to redefine her public image since stepping back from royal duties: the first, the Hollywood humanitarian; the second, the podcasting powerhouse; and now, the third, what experts describe as the lifestyle mogul comeback. Insiders call it a scattergun brand approach: a little bit wellness, a little bit fashion, a lot of celebrity sparkle, and just enough royal residue to keep the world watching. Reaction has been mixed. Supporters praise Meghan for her determination, saying she's creating her own empire from the ashes of royal restraint, but critics call it exhausting, one reinvention too many, and too obviously choreographed. Social media chatter captured the divide perfectly: admiration on one side, eye-rolling on the other. PR specialists tell GB News this trip was classic repositioning. Meghan and Harry appeared together just enough to maintain unity, yet the focus was unmistakably on her. One expert said, "This wasn't the Sussexes together, it was Meghan, headlining Harry's cameo." If that's true, the Duchess may be signalling a solo stage ahead. At Buckingham Palace, insiders reportedly rolled their eyes. After years of royal rifts, a splashy media tour isn't exactly what the king had hoped for, yet Meghan's moves still ripple across the monarchy. Every headline she creates steals oxygen from the palace's carefully managed image. As one royal source put it bluntly, she's not finished with the crown, she's just marketing around it. From Duchess to designer, from podcast to PR power play, Meghan Markle's third relaunch may be her boldest yet, but will the world buy what she's selling? Or is this just another chapter in the ongoing battle between image and authenticity? For more royal revelations and expert insight, this is Royal Saga, uncovering the drama behind Britain's most talked about dynasty.
None of it, to me, seems to have a real depth of feeling, like it did with Harry's late mother, for instance, and like it does with
It's all over
Kate
the place,
and
isn't it? It's scattergun, isn't it?
It's scattergun, and it's what are they trying to say? What are they trying to do? What have they done? You know, Phil, but I bet most people don't know.
No. Well, not over here, certainly. I think they're probably aiming an American market, really, aren't they? But whether she'll carry on with her as ever range or whether she'll branch out into other things, time will tell. But she clearly wants to, get commercially successful and make a lot of money, which all the time she's doing that, to be honest, I'd rather she was doing that than, slagging off the royals.
Yeah.
Or attempting to come back as a royal.
Always said that. Go and start your business and run a business if it means that you're not hitting back at the royals.
Without the royal tag, if you like,
are people interested?
People are not interested. She needs Harry, and Harry obviously needs and loves her, and she needs Harry because without Harry, who is she? Just another person trying to flog their makeup or their food. She has to stand out from the crowd.
Well, yeah, she referenced, not in those terms, Ingrid, as you put them there, but she kind of referenced that issue where she was speaking about this summit, this most powerful women's summit, where she was talking about the struggle of...
That was in Washington, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Washington after the New York trip. The same kind of Blitz, PR blitz that they had on the East Coast, the struggle of being scrutinised while building a business empire. I mean, that's what she was pushing on this trip. She did a lot of the red carpet stuff, which I think Meghan likes. But then she had the second half of it was talking about, her business empire, which is where she's trying to navigate herself into.
Well, she's always been a good talker because if you remember the pre-Harry Meghan, she was out there, wasn't she, giving her opinion about all kinds of world matters. And I always remember when she went to Africa and highlighted the plight of the clean water.
Yeah.
And she's always been on this one. It's just that I feel that people don't see her as that humanitarian. We certainly don't in this country, or most of us don't.
I'm not being confrontational, but do you think that? Because when she was in the royal family, when she was speaking on Oprah, she was complaining that she wasn't able to have a voice and that she was silenced and she couldn't speak about big issues that she wanted to or was prevented. But she hasn't really veered into anything exciting or controversial. You mentioned about the social media, it's incredibly interesting, but she hasn't ventured into anything spectacularly controversial and used her voice, global platform to change the world like I seem to think that she was hinting at when she was in the royal family.
Yeah. I think in New York and Washington, doubtless she would have been sort of moving and shaking, trying to meet people, trying to meet potential new business partners, trying to meet important people, probably had a few meetings behind the scenes that we don't know about. I think that's what it's all about, really. As you say, I think it's more about making money and less about, big issues. But that is one where they've, funnily enough, similar to William and Kate, going on about social media and the dangers of smartphones, etc. Something they all agree on.
I think we all agree on.
We all agree on that, but except the government, who wants to all have digital ID. But at the same time, everyone's trying to use their phones less. They want us to use them more. But anyway, that's a different issue.
Mobile phones are a modern issue for every parent. Now, Phil, we're talking about mobile phones.
Yes.
You don't have the most modern phone in the world.
No.
But myself and Ingrid, we have modern phones.
There's my phone. I don't have a smartphone. You see, I'm a technophobe.
But we have modern phones. Do you have a problem with screen time? The Princess of Wales has written, which is a wonderful essay. Again, when that dropped and I read it, I was very, very surprised. It's very well written, bringing up some incredible, important points about isolation and an epidemic of disconnection and loneliness.
I think she's absolutely right, Matt. I mean, I've got grandchildren and I see it with my grandson. I do. But the trouble is, in this modern world, everything moves very fast and people don't have what we had, or certainly I had in the past, which was nannies and people to help you. If you're on your own with 2 or 3 children, the screen time is a bit of a blessing. If you want to keep them quiet when they're in hospital, or you do need it. And in fact, my daughter said, well, I think Kate's absolutely right. But what's the alternative if you're on your own, which most women are nowadays? They don't have the panoply of staff that people did in the past.
But she made a very good point, though. I mean, this is when it really annoys me, when you go out for a meal and you see an entire family sitting there, all on their phones. You think, what's the point in going out for a meal? What's the point in having a nice dinner if you're not talking to each other? And she said they always have dinner every night together, don't they? I don't know what age they'll give them phones. I mean, they haven't got them.
I was really surprised when she said, I think it was William that said that his children did not have mobile phones.
No. Well, they practice what they preach, by the sounds of it, as parents.
Yeah, but they have got backup, and they're obviously quite strict. And the future of the monarchy is really in her children's hands, isn't it? So they need to be strict and try and bring their children up in a way that they are engaging with them all. I mean, Kate is absolutely right, and I think every mother will agree with her. But how to put it into action is the trouble.
I mean, this is something that they actually agree on, isn't it? Harry and Meghan and William and Kate are all singing from the same song sheet on this, you know, very much doing the same work, saying that, talking about the evils of social media and online bullying, etc., you know, but it's something they actually both saying. But of course, they all use social media themselves, don't they?
Yeah.
So it's just a question of balance, how much you do it, isn't it, really, and how much you use it.
And it is very addictive. It's very addictive for us. So for a child, suddenly you're looking at this screen and there's the whole world in these brilliant colours. Of course it's addictive. And if you talk to a child when they're watching television or something on the screen, they don't hear you.
The Princess as well, she's been speaking about this early years, I think the campaign. I'm trying to remember when I was there when she launched it, but it's been about 4 or 5 years now.
She's brilliant.
This is her biggest, I think, her biggest intervention, the one that's got the most coverage, the one that has really struck a chord with people since she's been raising awareness about the first 5 years of your life.
She's obviously been delving into her Sigmund Freud, hasn't she? Because that was one of his big themes,
And
the first 5 years, and picked up on it. And I totally agree. You know, I can understand why they you know, carrying on this theme that William wants to, and both of them want to give them a normal childhood. You know,
But in fact, they're not giving them a normal childhood, they're giving them an extra special childhood. Because when you see obviously highly paid nannies wheeling kids down the street, most of them are on their phone too, and that's another thing that Kate pointed out. You need to be, when you're with your children, you need to be engaged with them, not engaged with your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strong message, and she's the right person, I think, maybe to, you know, to get it across.